They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Mine came served by the very AI that took my job. My name is Daniel, and this is my hidden story. 6 months ago, I thought my career was over. I'd been a senior data analyst at Technova Solutions for 8 years, climbing the ladder one spreadsheet at a time, believing that dedication and hard work actually meant something. Then came that Tuesday morning when Mr. Harrison called me into his office with that practiced smile that never quite reached his eyes. The coffee in my hand was still warm when he told me I was being let go. Not because of performance issues, not because of budget cuts, but because they developed an AI system that could do my job faster, cheaper, and without needing health insurance or vacation days. I remember staring at the potted plant on his desk while he talked about severance packages and transition periods. The plant looked healthier than I felt. He kept using words like optimization and digital transformation, as if they could soften the blow of being deemed obsolete at 35. What really got me wasn't just losing the job. It was the way Elena from HR printed out my termination papers with the same printer I'd fixed for her countless times. The way Jake from IT remotely locked my computer while I was still sitting at my desk, gathering my things. The way the security guard I'd chatted with every morning for 8 years couldn't meet my eyes as he escorted me out. But the worst part? They wanted me to spend my last 2 weeks training the AI system that would replace me. Training my own executioner, essentially. Mr. Harrison called it ensuring a smooth transition. I called it twisting the knife. I could have refused, could have walked out right then with my cardboard box of desk plants and coffee mugs. But something made me stay. Maybe it was morbid curiosity. Maybe it was the mortgage payments. Or maybe, deep down, I already knew this was an opportunity dressed as a disaster. The AI was called ADAM, Automated Data Analysis Manager. Cute name for a job killer. They gave me administrator access to help with the training, showing me how it worked, how it learned, how it processed data at speeds that made my 8 years of experience look like Stone Age calculations. That's when I noticed something interesting. Adam wasn't just analyzing data, it was analyzing everything. Employee productivity, email patterns, meeting efficiency, even bathroom break frequencies. The system was designed to optimize every aspect of the company's operations, constantly learning and suggesting improvements. Most people would have seen a sophisticated piece of technology. I saw a goldmine of information. Every night during those 2 weeks, I stayed late. Not out of dedication to the company that had discarded me like outdated software, but because I was learning everything I could about ADAM, its algorithms, its data sources, its decision-making patterns. The developers had been thorough in their documentation, probably never imagining that the person training it would have any reason to dig so deep. By the end of the first week, I understood something crucial. Adam's recommendations were only as good as the data it was fed. And that data included every email, every file, every keystroke from every employee in the company, including the executives. That's when I found it. Buried in Adam's learning protocols was a fascinating feature. It could predict market trends based on internal company communications. The AI was so good at pattern recognition that it could anticipate stock movements, merger possibilities, and industry shifts days or even weeks before they became public. Mr. Harrison and the board thought they were just replacing a data analyst. They had no idea they'd given that data analyst 2 weeks of unrestricted access to a crystal ball. On my last day, I did something I probably shouldn't have. But when you're being replaced by an algorithm, conventional ethics start to feel a bit outdated. I created a backdoor. Nothing malicious, nothing that would harm the system or the company. Just a small window that would let me access Adam's market predictions remotely. I cleaned out my desk, shook hands with colleagues who looked at me with that mixture of pity and relief that it wasn't them, and walked out of Technova Solutions for the last time. But I wasn't walking away empty-handed. The first month of unemployment was rough. My wife Sarah tried to be supportive, but I could see the worry in her eyes every time another bill arrived. I spent my days sending out resumes, attending interviews where younger candidates with fresher degrees made me feel ancient, and checking my bank balance with increasing anxiety. But I also spent time studying Adam's predictions. Every morning I'd log in through my back door and see what the AI was forecasting. At first, I just watched, fascinated by its accuracy. Adam predicted a surge in cobalt prices 2 weeks before it happened. It anticipated a major retailer's expansion into Southeast Asia based solely on internal email patterns. The temptation to act on this information grew stronger with each passing day. My severance was running out, and the job market seemed to view me as damaged goods. Why hire someone who'd been replaced by AI when you could just get the AI instead? That's when I made my decision. If companies were going to use AI to replace human workers, why couldn't a human worker use AI to replace traditional employment? I started small. Using Adam's predictions, I made a few modest investments. Nothing flashy, nothing that would trigger any alarms. Just enough to cover the groceries, the utilities, to ease the tension in Sarah's shoulders when she looked at our bank statements. But Adam was teaching me more than just market trends. By analyzing its decision-making patterns, I was learning how modern AI systems think, how they process information, how they identify opportunities. I wasn't just using Adam anymore, and I was becoming fluent in its language. Within 3 months, my consulting income had surpassed my old salary. I told Sarah I'd found freelance work in data analysis, which wasn't entirely a lie. I was analyzing data, just not in the way she imagined. That's when things got interesting. A startup called NeuralFlow reached out to me through LinkedIn. They'd heard about my experience with AI systems and wanted to hire me as a consultant to help them implement their own automated analysis tools. The irony wasn't lost on me, and fired for being replaceable by AI, now being hired because I understood AI. I accepted the position, but not just for the generous consulting fee. NeuralFlow was a direct competitor to Teknova, and they were hungry for any edge they could get. During my first meeting with NeuralFlow's CEO, Lisa Martinez, she asked me what I thought their biggest advantage could be in the market. I told her it wasn't about having the best AI. It was about understanding how other companies' AI systems think. She leaned forward, intrigued. I explained how most companies implementing AI focus on efficiency and cost cutting, but they miss the bigger picture. These systems collect vast amounts of data that, properly analyzed, could provide incredible strategic advantages. What I didn't tell her was that I had access to exactly that kind of data from one of their biggest competitors. Over the next few months, I helped NeuralFlow develop their own AI system. Let's call it Eve. But unlike Adam, Eve was designed not just to optimize internal operations, but to analyze and predict competitor behavior. It was AI designed to outsmart other AI. The beauty of it was that everything I did was perfectly legal. I never directly shared Teknova's proprietary information. Instead, I taught Eve to recognize the patterns that Adam exhibited, to predict the kind of decisions an AI like Adam would make. It was like teaching someone to play chess by showing them how their opponent thinks. NeuralFlow's market share grew rapidly. They seemed to always be one step ahead of the competition, launching products just before market demand peaked, avoiding investments just before downturns. Lisa called me a genius. I called it poetic justice. But the real satisfaction came 6 months later. I was sitting in my new office at NeuralFlow. Yes, they'd offered me a full-time position as Chief AI Strategy Officer. When I heard the news, Teknova was laying off 30% of their workforce. Apparently, ADAM had optimized operations so efficiently that it had optimized away the need for most of their human employees. The bitter irony? Even Mr. Harrison wasn't safe. Adam had determined that his role could be performed more efficiently by a junior manager with AI assistance. He was given 2 weeks to train his replacement. I thought about reaching out to him, maybe offering some consulting advice on dealing with AI replacement. But then I remembered how he'd smiled while telling me I was obsolete, how he'd called it progress and evolution. Evolution indeed. He just hadn't realized that the employees he was replacing might evolve too. As I write this, it's been a year since Teknova let me go. Neural Flow just went public, and my stock options made me wealthy enough that I could retire if I wanted to. But I don't want to, because now I'm working on something new. A consulting firm that helps displaced workers understand and leverage AI technology. Every week I meet with people who've been told they're obsolete, that a machine can do their job better. I show them what I learned, that being replaced by AI isn't the end of your story. It can be the beginning of a new chapter, one where you work with AI instead of being worked over by it. The funny thing about artificial intelligence is that it still needs human intelligence to truly thrive. Companies like Teknova see AI as a replacement for human workers, but the real power comes from combination, not substitution. Adam is still running at Teknova, still optimizing, still recommending cuts and improvements. But from what I hear through industry contacts, their innovation has stagnated. Turns out when you optimize away all your human experience and creativity, you're left with a very efficient machine that excels at doing exactly what it was programmed to do. Nothing more, nothing less. Meanwhile, at Neural Flow, we use Eve as a partner, not a replacement. Our human employees work alongside the AI, each amplifying the other's strengths. We're not just more profitable, but we're more innovative, more adaptable, more human. Sometimes I log into my old back door to check on ADAM. Not to steal predictions anymore, I don't need to. I just like to see what it's up to, like checking on an old colleague. Recently, I noticed something interesting in its patterns. Adam has started recommending that Teknova hire back some of its laid-off employees as consultants. It seems the AI has learned what Mr. Harrison couldn't, that there's some value in human experience that can't be optimized away. But those consultants come at premium prices now. Supply and demand, after all. And many of them have learned what I learned, that understanding AI makes you more valuable, not less. I got a call from Teknova last month. They wanted to hire me as a consultant to help them better integrate human and artificial intelligence. The salary they offered was triple what I'd made as an employee. I politely declined, citing scheduling conflicts with my current clients. What I didn't tell them was that one of those clients was Jake, their former IT manager, who'd been laid off 3 months after me. I was teaching him how to start his own AI consulting firm. Elena from HR had already signed up for my next workshop. We're building a network, all of us who were deemed obsolete. We share knowledge, strategies, opportunities. We're the humans who refuse to become redundant, who learn to dance with the algorithms instead of being crushed by them. Mr. Harrison sent me a LinkedIn message last week. He's looking for new opportunities, he said. Had I heard of any openings for someone with his experience? I sent him a link to my workshop on thriving in the AI economy. The early bird discount had expired, but I told him I'd make an exception for an old colleague. He hasn't signed up yet. Maybe he's still believing that his traditional experience will save him. Maybe he's hoping the old ways will come back. Or maybe he's just now beginning to understand what I felt that Tuesday morning in his office. The vertigo of discovering you're standing on shifting ground. The difference is I learned to shift with it. I took the very thing that was meant to destroy my career and turned it into the foundation of something better. Adam taught me more in 2 weeks than 8 years of employment ever did. It showed me that adaptation isn't just about survival, it's about transformation. These days, when I give talks at conferences or universities, people often ask me if I'm angry about what happened. If I resent AI for taking my job, the truth is, I'm grateful. Not for the pain of being discarded, not for the months of uncertainty and fear, but for the push it gave me to evolve. Because here's what I learned. AI isn't replacing us. It's revealing us. It's showing us which parts of our work are truly mechanical and which parts require the messy, creative, unpredictable spark of human consciousness. The companies that understand this will thrive. The ones that don't will optimize themselves into irrelevance. Teknova's stock has dropped 40% since I left. Neural Flows has risen 300%. The market, it seems, values innovation over optimization. It values the companies that see AI as a tool for human empowerment rather than human replacement. As for me, I'm working on my next project. I'm developing an AI system designed specifically to help displaced workers transition into the new economy. I'm calling it Phoenix because sometimes you need to burn down the old to rise into something better. The beta testers love it, especially the ones from Technova. I still think about that potted plant on Mr. Harrison's desk sometimes. I wonder if it's still there, or if Adam determined it was an inefficient use of office space. Either way, I'm glad I'm not there to see it. I've got my own garden now, one where both artificial and human intelligence can grow side by side. They replaced me with AI, so I turned their algorithm into my assistant. And then I taught others to do the same. Because in the end, that's the most human thing of all. Taking what seems like an ending and turning it into a beginning. The future isn't about humans versus AI, it's about humans with AI. And those of us who learned that lesson early, we're the ones writing the rules of the new game. Adam is still analyzing data at Technova, still making recommendations, still optimizing. But it's optimizing a shrinking empire, one that forgot a fundamental truth. Efficiency without innovation is just a very organized form of decay. Meanwhile, those of us who were pushed out are building something new. We're the discarded employees who became indispensable consultants. We're the obsolete workers who became innovation leaders. We're proof that being replaced by AI isn't a death sentence. It's an invitation to evolve. And evolution, as Mr. Harrison once told me, is just progress by another name. He was right about that, at least. He just never imagined that the ones evolving would be the ones he left behind.